Hey guys, how y'all doing today? My name is Franchise Fanatic and welcome back to the channel. And today for you guys, this is another Marvel movie review. Today we're tackling Deadpool 1, aka Deadpool. Now you're probably wondering, wait a minute, this isn't part of the MCU, this is Fox, right? A few things we gotta take. First of all, leave a like, subscribe, all that fun stuff. It's free, it takes a second, helps you boy out. Also, Disney officially bought 20th Century Fox. I don't know if you were under a rock, but that's what happened about a year or so ago. And you know, everything that is 20th Century Fox, from Deadpool to X-Men to Kingsman to Avatar to whatever, it's all Disney now. I think it's good, you know what I mean? When Disney's not being woke and stupid, I think they make some pretty darn good stuff. But, you know, one of the new things that they did is of course, Deadpool, and obviously Deadpool 3, Deadpool and Wolverine is coming out very soon. I'm going to be watching it on the 27th, and I should have a review very soon. Again, quick reminder, if you are seeing that in theaters, I said this in my Endgame review, but if you are seeing Deadpool and Wolverine in theaters, don't get spoiled. Really, really, really try hard not to get effed over online, because it's going to suck if that happens. Trust me, I've been there. Be careful, okay? Anyway, Deadpool 1 and 2, you know, for the longest time were part of their own thing, like X-Men, like Logan, whatever. You know, those are clearly part of the Fox stuff, and the MCU stuff is the Disney stuff. They're different universes, not even connected. Now that is completely farther from the truth. Deadpool 1, Deadpool 2, and Logan, as far as we know, there may be more. Those are all canon to the MCU now. I'm going to have an MCU canon video coming out soon. Basically, to put it simply, okay, it's through the dropped it. It's through the multiverse, essentially. So you have this, you know, if you've been keeping up with the MCU, you look at, like, you know, Spider-Man No Way Home, right? Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man trilogy, Andrew Garfield duology, whatever. Those two Spider-Man things which were never connected are now in the MCU. All the Sony shit, Venom, Madam Web, Morbius, Kraven the Hunter, those are all, Madam Web I think is its own thing. But, you know, the Sony stuff is also canon to the MCU. Deadpool and Logan are also canon to the MCU. So that's why this is called an MCU review. I put it in quotes, because it's not part of the MCU technically. You know, it's not like, oh, Captain Marvel and then Deadpool, Avengers Endgame, Deadpool 2. But it's all connected through the multiverse. And if anything the multiverse saga has done, it's allowed other things that were previously not part of the MCU to now become canon to the MCU through the multiverse, right? It's effing incredible. It's fantastic. And it just makes the MCU even bigger and better. I'm effing here for it, man. I'm totally here for it. Now, speaking of effing, Deadpool is an R-rated movie. And this is you know, I'm not one to swear. I fucking hate swearing. But at the same time, you know, this whole aspect of it, this whole aspect of that has been kind of on my mind for the longest time, because it's like, oh, Deadpool came out in 2016. Cool! Oh, it's rated R. Oh, in 2016 I wasn't old enough, and my parents were pretty strict. So I was like, oh, fudge, what do I do? So then Alan saw it, and then other people saw it, and I was like, you saw Deadpool? Was it good? You know, he's like, oh, it was great, it was effing incredible. And I'm like, I wanted to choke him out. And it was just, you know, it sucked not being able to watch the newest Marvel film, which everyone and their mom has effing seen. I never saw this movie in theaters. Really pissed off. Obviously, you know, yeah, it's rated R. There is extreme, I don't want to say extreme, but there is violence and gore. There is sex and nudity. There are curse words. There's drug abuse mentioning. It's really not the most R-rated movie ever, but to me, Deadpool is a benchmark in Marvel where they were like kind of a... Deadpool 1 is kind of like a beta, you know, it's like a test drive, it's like a practice run. It is rated R, and again, for those of you who really, really know the character of Deadpool, like myself, and I'm not just talking Ryan Reynolds Deadpool, I'm talking the character in general. I have a bunch of Deadpool comics. I didn't bring them, but they're in my I'll bring them for Deadpool too. They're in my bedroom. But I have a crap ton of Deadpool comics. I've read a lot of Deadpool books. Deadpool is mature. Okay, he is an adults-only character, but he doesn't say the F word every 5 seconds. There is no graphic nudity every 20 minutes, and there's, if anything, the worst part in the comics is the gore, which I'm fine with that. You know, and I'm not like some, you know, old grandma who's like, oh, I can't say the F word. Like, I don't care. It's just a word. I don't care. But at the same time, obviously we don't really, I'm not really, you know, swearing isn't good. We don't do it in the house. But, you know, if I accidentally pop a word, it's not the end of the world. But, you know, that being said, I'm not, you know, super sensitive to swearing. But this movie did feel like, and upon rewatch, it still feels like this. They were like, all right, we got to make Deadpool rated R. What do we do? What is in rated R things? Oh, boobs. Okay. The word fuck, okay. Gore, okay. Put it all in. And then that's what you had. Now look, as a straight man, I know that I guess we're kind of the bad guy now, but I'm not opposed to seeing boobs, okay? Like, I'm not opposed. I'm not going to wince away and be scared of a naked woman, okay? I like that. But I'm also not a weirdo. So, you know, if my mom's in the other room and the Deadpool Vanessa sex scene is happening, and there's moaning and shit, I'm not going to be like, ooh, let me put up the soundbar. Like, no, it's weird. You know what I mean? It's like watching Game of Thrones and they're like having dog style and mom walks in the room. Like, what the fuck? You know, I mean, it's weird. It's weird. So, like, with that being said, you know, I don't hate that stuff, but it is a bit cringy, especially when you're trying to watch the movie. Thankfully, my mom went up, so it's not, you know, I don't know if you guys have parents like that, but it's like watching porn with your grandma. It's like, what the fuck are we doing? You know what I mean? Come on. But at the same time, it does feel like they try to hit, you know, not like woke, tick all the boxes, but they were still ticking boxes for R-rated material. Because again, Deadpool doesn't say the F word every 5 seconds. Like, there are moments in this movie where he's like, finish her the fuck off. And I'm like, dude, you gotta, like, chill. You know what I mean? Like, I'm saying it to tell you what he's saying, but it's like, you gotta chill a bit. You know, he does swear, but it's not constant. There's like, it's an hour and 40 minutes, and there's like 84 to 90 F words in an hour and 40 minutes. Again, not some grandma or not some old, you know, boomer who's like, oh, F words are the devil's word. Like, I don't know. But it is a little bit cringy, you know what I mean? The sex stuff, again, I'll stand by this. I'm not opposed to seeing a naked chick, but at the same time, there's other ways to show the audience that a male and a female love each other without vicious banging. And, you know, obviously, you know, like I said, it's R-rated, and that was a big marketing push of this film. Ooh, there's sex in this one. There's boobs in this one. It's like, all right, cool. But did we need that? You know, like I said, as a straight guy, I'm not complaining. I'm like, you know, I'm not wincing. But in terms of overall movie quality, it's, you know, it begs the question, do we need that? It's like, you know, Lord of the Rings didn't need graphic sex for me to find out that Aragorn and what's-her-face love each other, you know what I mean? Arwen. The same thing with, oh, frick, I don't know, man. Rey and Ben from the sequels. Like, we don't need that. I wouldn't mind Rey naked, but we don't need that to prove a point, you know what I mean? So it does feel a bit off, you know, there's other ways to show. And by the end of the movie, you do get a little bit that, you know, Wade and Vanessa, you know, do love each other, and it's not just sex, but, you know, it's just like, you know, I get it, it's an adult movie, but, you know, like, Wade shows his jacked up looking face to Vanessa, and she's like, oh, it's a face I'd be willing to sit on, and I'm like, adult jokes, but then I'm like, who the hell would say that in real life? Like, no woman would also say what Padme says, I truly, deeply love you, but no woman, unless you're like white trash hillbilly, I don't think any woman would say that, unless you're like a porn star or like a stripper. You know what I mean? Like, a normal woman wouldn't say that, I don't think. I'm not a woman. I don't know. I don't think that would happen, though. It's kind of weird. So, you know, like I said, there's a few things where it feels like characters say things where maybe it's not really realistic. You know, like there's a scene where you know, Wade finds out that Vanessa was kidnapped by Ajax and I think Angel Dust. And, you know, Weasel and him are trying to formulate a plan. And he's in his apartment and he's like, fudge! 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 He's not saying fudge. And he's, you know, beating his thing up. He's like, fudge! Fudge! And I'm like, alright, we get it. Like, it's funny for a second, but him swearing over and over and over, it's like, dude, there's other words to say than fudge, you know, every 5 seconds. Again, some of the swearing in this movie is funny. Again, that is the character. Deadpool does curse. That's the point. He's the merc with a mouth. But he doesn't swear every 0.5 seconds. And I think that's where they kind of got off the rails. The gore is fine. I'm fine with that. That's appropriate. The sex, again, I kind of get it, but it's also like, did we need that to prove a point unless you just wanted to be edgy? And again, the swearing, the swearing's fine, but it is very constant. But besides that, I guess my only other negative would just be, this movie does feel kind of cookie cutter. It feels kind of basic, you know. Obviously, it's an origin story, and we need that. You know, we need Wade gets cancer, and, you know, he is about to die, and he goes to the Weapon X program, and they you know, mutate him and all that, his skin gets all left up, and he becomes Deadpool, right? We need that. We need that origin. But at the same time, there are so many Deadpool comics, so many stories that he's in, and they went with, his girlfriend gets kidnapped, and he has to save her. Like, it's just, I'm literally watching, like, a Mario game. Princess Peach gets captured by Bowser, Mario's gotta save her. It's a very basic story. Not bad, but basic, you know what I mean? That's kind of a difference there. again, there are moments where it is genuinely hilarious, right? The fourth wall breaks are great. Ryan Reynolds was literally born to play Deadpool. They poke fun at the X-Men Origins Wolverine version. They poke fun at Green Lantern. They poke fun of a bunch of stuff. They poke fun at Hugh Jackman Wolverine and all that, just Hugh Jackman in general. So there's a lot of jokes in here that work. It's a very funny movie. I'm not gonna cut around it. It's a funny movie, and it works. I love this movie. But like I said, I wanted to get that out of the way, where it does feel a little bit basic in its plot, and it also felt like they were trying to tick the R-rated box to prove a point and be edgy, when maybe they didn't have to do that. You know what I mean? It's like when you're thinking about Deadpool, it's like, oh, you got to say the F word and have sex and have violence. And yeah, all that is still at the core of the character, but not to that extent. But in terms of positives, like I said, I love Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool. He's a really great choice for that. Everyone's good in this role. You know what I mean? When Gina Carano, before she got canceled by the left, hashtag Gina Carano did nothing wrong. She's good in this. Ajax is good in this. The guy from Alita Battle Angel. There's a few things where he goes, "What's my name?" And I'm like, I get it. He keeps saying "What's my name" to egg him on, and oh, you want to mess with me some more? Say my name, and I'll mess with you some more. I get why they did that, but it is a bit cringy that he says it so many times. But he is good in that role. We get Colossus, Negasonic Teenage Warhead. It's cool that, they kind of poke fun at the X-Men in general, and there's only two of you. There's a budget cut reason. Deadpool says McAvoy or Stewart, kind of poking fun at the X-Men timeline being completely muddled. There's stuff like that, which it's genuinely funny and it's endearing. Sometimes Deadpool just goes on a tangent about, like, cabinets with Blind Al, and it's stuff like that, or like they play classical music and he's just walking and he's like covering himself up with rags. He's like, "Sorry, I bled in your garbage," or "Are you there, guy? It's me, Margaret." Like crazy Easter eggs and jokes and references like that. It's endearing. It's like you can't take your eyes off the screen. It's really effing good stuff. It's funny as heck. Really works. The action is phenomenal. There's a few instances where Deadpool is CGI, but I think that actually kind of attributes to the lore. I think that actually works in this film's favor because it is so satirical in nature. Deadpool is also a character that breaks the fourth wall. That happens a lot, so that's cool. Again, it has a good origin setup for the most part. Again, a little bit basic, but I think it does the job. But it needs to, for the most part. Like I said, I got a few issues with it, like we already talked about. But as far as the positives go, it's really funny. The end credits scene has a lot of funny moments too. Again, a lot of the humor is mature, but some of it is humor that any age can get, but obviously I wouldn't recommend this to any age group, but some of the humor is not just centered around the F word and sex. Some jokes are generally funny, regardless of having an R rating attached to it or not. But again, the action is great, like I said. I think that the CGI is actually pretty good, considering this movie was kind of, like I said, kind of a beta test of a film. That test footage leaked, and they're like, "Oh, people love it. Let's make a Deadpool movie." And, Tim Miller did this film, and it's actually a pretty effing cheap movie. It really wasn't made for a whole lot compared to other MCU or X-Men films at the time. It really isn't a super expensive film. It was quite cheap. And obviously it's Deadpool, and it's R-rated, and it made a butt ton of money. And obviously that's how we got to, and we're getting Deadpool and Wolverine soon, so that's cool. But like I said, it was a cheap movie. And you can see that in spots. But again, I think that kind of works for the character. Again, I think that the humor works for the most part. So it seems like I was being a little overly negative, but, I love this character, and I feel like, again, they were trying to do the ticking of the boxes. The plot is a bit simplified, where you have so many years of comic lore to work on. I like Vanessa as a character. I like all the characters. I do like the plot. I like the origin. It works, okay? It works. The jokes, everything about this movie, for the most part, works. I just wish it would have been something different than just, oh, he's got to save his girlfriend. It's like, alright, cool, but it's kind of lazy. We've seen that in a million other freaking movies. Thankfully, Deadpool 2, which I consider to be the better Deadpool so far, we'll get to that with the review. I haven't rewatched it yet, but, that one has, at least from what I remember, a better plot, but we'll have to see how that goes. But overall, man, Deadpool is a really well-made, really funny movie. It pays homage to other things that, I feel like they really got the character. Again, like I said, you don't really need all the sex stuff and the curse words every 5 seconds, but for the most part, they nailed the character, and I really thought they did a pretty damn good job with what they were, trying to do. Again, as an R-rated comic book movie, back when those didn't really do well, this movie really did well. And again, it pissed me off so bad that I couldn't see it in theaters. It was like, nope, you're not allowed. And I was like, of course, everyone else that I know could see it. I couldn't. But finally, when I got that Blu-ray, my face perked up, and then the moaning happened, and I was like, fuck, where's the mute button? You know what I mean? Thankfully, I didn't have to mute it yesterday, because, She was upstairs. Because we have a soundbar, okay? That's just really effing loud, okay? I didn't, like, blast it during the sex scene. You know what I'm saying. I'm not weird. But still, really good movie. Again, I enjoy this film, and I enjoy what they were trying to do, and for the most part, it works. I'm going to give Deadpool I'll give it a B+. Normally, I would have, in my mind, obviously, I love the film, but I had to think of things to review. And again, like I said in the beginning, of those reasons, I'm not going to restate them, but for those reasons, I'm going to give Deadpool a B+. I do genuinely love this film, though, for all it's worth, and I'm glad we got more spin-offs with this character. I think he really fits well. And like I said, Logan, Deadpool 1, Deadpool 2, all in the MCU now through the multiverse. Really great stuff. And again, it just makes the MCU a heck of a lot bigger, which is really, really cool. So tell me down below in the comments what you thought about Deadpool 1, and what's your favorite out of the two so far. If you have, for some weird reason, have seen Deadpool and Wolverine, either before the film releases or after the film releases, and you're coming to this video after the movie's out, don't say any spoilers in the comments, please. I will delete your comment. Don't F that up, please. You guys are great with that stuff when it comes to new releases, but I gotta tell you anyway. And also, be careful online, as I stated in the beginning of this video too. There are gonna be spoilers. They're out right now. Like, I'm filming this on the 24th, I believe. Yeah, the 24th. And, they're on the internet, so be careful. Anyway, tell me down below what you thought about Deadpool. Pretty good movie, and yeah, I had a lot of fun with it, and I can't wait to cover Deadpool 2, and eventually Deadpool and Wolverine very soon. Thank you guys, and we'll see you in the next video.